So to start a new idea here, I'm just going to kind of turn everything off. I saved my file, and then I'm going to move into something that's more applied. Okay, so we looked at a bunch of things. Well, let me just go back a sec. We looked at a bunch of things abstract, right? We took our old pattern and we said what happens when we flip it up. Well, we realized that there are some issues with its orientation. So then we applied that to our actual warped surface, and so we kind of resolve that by finding the surface normal, essentially, or finding the frame, right? And then we start to look at the actual application of subtraction. The reason that I'm not going back to subtract these is because those surfaces are actually warped. So when you have a flat curve on a warped surface, you can't subtract it, right? So what we're going to do is go back into a more applied sort of condition. I'm going to clean up this warped surface because right now it's looking really crazy. So I'm going to do something with a simple curve, really control it so that you can see in great detail what it takes to really make that kind of perforation get cut in two different ways. So let's turn all this off and let's start brand new. So boom. And I'm going to group all that. So I know that that is a closed exercise. So now step one for me is just going to be to create a curved surface, right? So I'm not going to do a super like warped surface or anything like that. We're just going to do it curved because I want you to be able to see in the top and front view what some of the challenges are in a clear way. So I'm going to just do a simple curve or an arc. Curve tools. Oh, I hate using these. So I'm just going to do an arc like this. There we go. So I just typed in the arc command. And from that, I'm just going to extrude it upwards. So I'll extrude the curve and just pull it upwards like this. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to be able to see and monitor in the top view what's happening, okay, as we move forward. So first things first, let's reference it into Grasshopper. I'll work in the perspective for now. Let's reference it into Grasshopper, and we could just do that with surface. And I'll set this surface. It didn't work. Set one surface. Why is it not working? Sorry? That's new to me. That's never happened. Failed to load. Okay, hang on. So the issue is that you have to, when it's a poly surface, right? Because technically this is considered a poly surface. Anytime you extrude something, it's a poly surface. So you have to reference that with a B-rep instead of a surface. Because a poly surface technically isn't one surface. There may only be one there, but it's not technically one surface. So go to the geometry panel and go to B-rep. And then right click and set that B-rep. And for clarity here, I'm going to turn off the layer that I put this on in Rhino. So all I see here is the curved surface in Grasshopper. Now, we're going to I'm going to pretty quickly bring us back up to the point where we were before. I'm going to do the subdivide, and then I'm just going to put a circle on it. And hang on, let me pause just for a moment. There was something. All right, so let's just continue on then. So I'm going to kind of rapidly bring us back up to where we were with a subdivided surface. So, but we're going to make this kind of like a curtain wall system, right? So now we're getting into something that sort of kind of resembles an architectural condition. First and foremost, I'm going to go to Math and Domain, and I'm going to use Divide Domain Squared. And I can plug brep in and drop my sliders in, 0 to 10. And then, if you recall, this comes in a triangle with a command that's called isotrim under Surface and Utility. Isotrim. So the segments domain gets plugged into the domain input, and then brep gets plugged into S. And then all you got to do is just remember to turn up your U and V count. So I'm going to make it something that actually resembles a facade system. If I turn my original brep off, you'll see it a little bit more clearly, like that. So back to the top view, I want you to be aware of something. These panels are curved, right? If you look at it, it's not a flat panel. So it doesn't exactly exist in a world like a building would, right? Because you'd either, if it's a warped surface, you have to triangulate it. If it's just a simple curved surface, then you're going to have to flatten those panels out and create quadrilaterals out of it. So to do that, we can do a deconstruct process with a reconstruction. Okay, and that's essentially going to look like this. If you go to Surface and Analysis and grab Deconstruct brep again, it comes in with a predefined structure that we can use to reconstruct flat panels. And I'll show you what I mean here. And I'm just going to point you right to it, the vertices, right? What we've done when we broke this down is we created individual panels, right? So this right here is a panel. That's a panel. We created four, see those packages of four edges for every single one of those panels. And we created a pack of 4 vertices. So every single panel has 1, 2, 3, 4 points. And the fact that they are grafted, using the proper term, the fact that they are grafted into packs of 4 means that I can basically map those 4 points together into a flat panel, assuming that it is a singularly curved element. Okay, so I can do that in this case because the top view is a profile, or any of the views is a profile. It's a singular curve. It's not warped. So I do that by using, you could do it with 4-point surface or surface from points. I forget, 4-point surface is going to ask for 4 separate points. That's not what I want because they're already grafted into a group. Under also freeform surface from points, I think will allow us to do it. So this is just going to say a grid of points. Plug that in. Now it's not going to work because it's going to ask for a couple of other things. It's going to ask for the number of points in the U direction, and then the number of interpolate samples is just, I think it's how closely the points are being mapped together. I could be wrong, but that one's not something I typically use in my work processes. I could clarify for you if necessary. But anyway, the one we are concerned with is the number of points in the u direction. So I'm gonna state this from a perspective of not really knowing how it operates. So if I don't know what number I need here, I have a pretty cool tool. I can just put a slider. I'm pretty sure you need 2 points. It might be 3. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you need to put in 2. But if you don't really know, just put a slider here from like 0 to 4 and figure it out from there. So 0 is less than 4. 0 to 3 actually. So 0 is not going to work because obviously I need some points. And so if I go to 1, that's not going to be enough too because it needs to be larger than 1. And so if I put it up to 2, well then it's going to it'll read something at least. So turn that preview off. And this is what I get. Why do you think I got that? What's that?
What'd you say?
Why do you think I got that?
Because you said 2, is this like that, and I flip it?
Sort of, but switching it to 3 or 4 or anything isn't going to change that. Let's go to display and go to vector and point list. And we're going to review what the list of points actually looks like. Now, when you're doing this, it can be a little difficult to read the order of points because when they're over top of one another, they kind of jumble together. But in some cases, you can read certain sets over others. And so this blue set I can read pretty well. I have a 0 in this corner, I have a 1 in this corner, then I have a 2 in that corner, and then I have a 3 in this corner. So for some reason, it's reading 0, 1, 3, 2.
So there's still 4 numbers, he's just counting 0, and that way 3 numbers is a triangle.
Well, no. So theoretically, it should actually go 0, 1, 2, 3. So I'm a little thrown off by this. I thought it was going to go 0, 1, and then 2 up there, and then 3 over here. Is that what yours did?
0, 0, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, so yours matches mine. And it flips it like this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it should, if you did it the same way as me. I've troubleshooted this before, and now I'm blanking on exactly how I fixed it.
Did you hide something?
Yeah, I turned the deconstruct brep off. So if you see that, just turn your deconstruct brep off. Anyway, so what we have to do here, we have some options. We can we can restructure it by manually reordering the points. That'll work. So I think that's probably what I'd prefer to do in this case. Rather than, well, I could talk through a number of different ways of doing it. We can explode it, get all of the individual points, and reconstruct it using the 4-point surface like this, and then I could put them in exactly the spots that I want them. I can try to isolate this edge and that edge and loft it together, which will give me a uniform surface no matter what I do. So that's a good fallback. But I'm going to try a more clever way of doing this by just reordering the list of points to make my number 3 point be the last point that it connects. Yeah, we'll try that. So it's going 0, 1, and I want it to go 2 and then 3. So I need to move 3 to be last, or 0. Let's check it out this way. I'm going to put a param on it and see what it looks like. So it is reading 0, 1, 2, 3.
I have a question. Are the triangles curved or are they straight? Because on mine they're showing straight.
What do you mean by straight? Flat?
Yeah, well not flat, but like instead of being in a curved triangle, they're
Like this, in top view?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Should be. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get it to be a flat panel as if it was glass that came from the factory. So I actually, looking at this list feature, I don't exactly know why it's still giving me the triangles when it's reading in the proper order, or what I think is the proper order. So the easiest way for me to then retrofit it to make it work is to isolate the top and bottom edge and then just loft it. Or it could be the left and the right edge. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do here. I can get rid of the points. And instead of surface grid, I'm going to work off of deconstruct vrep. Again. So, let's see. Oh, this video is running kind of long. All right. So I'm going to stop this video here, and then I'm going to go with the new option in the next video.